has been about a month, and we have increased our average views and monthly subscribers by over 100% each just by applying what we worked on in the main content of this video. So let's rewind so you can see what we've been doing.
We have been so interested in finding out what keeps people watching a channel on YouTube.
I come back to the channels because they're easy watching, they're happy vibes, and sometimes I actually kind of learn something from both. So
I feel like Elise Myers, the comedian, I think she really shows who she truly is, and that's something that draws me to her. I think for most of them, they do come across as pretty authentic, and that draws me to them.
It's just his personality. Again, another life that's so different from mine, so it's just cool to watch.
So what do people say? They watch for you, the creator.
This is something that we have seen firsthand this year. If you looked at our analytics in 2023, you would see that everything was going well until like July. Something big changed, and like, what was it that changed? It was the channel host. That was the only thing.
Yeah, no, it seems like surely there must have been some other factor there. It couldn't be that big a difference to have just the host change. But that is the only thing that has changed on our channel. We have the same people planning the videos. In fact, on one of those videos delivered by the previous host, Nathan planned out the entire thing. Not only one of those videos, but the best performing video by far of the entire year. Nathan planned it all out, gave the lines to the host presenting it, and so it's clear that the host is the only difference, which is crazy.
I think about the video that you just mentioned, the one that was the biggest video on the channel. If I were to be the one who had presented that video, I don't think it would have done as well. Even though I did the planning, I even did the editing and the thumbnail on that, I just don't think that it would have performed as well because the channel host was so important to how the video was received.
Right, but that's really broad. So what is it more specifically about the creator that makes such a big difference?
So after all these months of creating on this channel, we've narrowed down a list of just a few key items that we feel have been critical to the success of the channel.
The first one is my favorite. It is be normal. Hear us out. Even if you're not normal, that doesn't mean don't let your quirks show, but it means learn to talk to the camera and act normal while you're doing it. We recently did a 30-day challenge to get better on camera, and one of the interesting things we noticed is that it's so hard when you're talking to the camera for some reason to just act normal. We have these weird mannerisms that we wouldn't do in real life, or we overcompensate and try to kind of hide things or look more professional than we actually need to in real life. So be your weird self, but be that actual person instead of some weird non-normal version of that for the camera.
Okay, we're about to head out the door to a new location that I think is really going to help illustrate these next 2 points that we talk about. We might also get some lunch or whatever, but that's totally beside the point. It's going to make sense really soon. Let's go.
We are at In-N-Out right now. It's a brand new location. It's the first one in Idaho. It opened like 3 weeks ago. There was an 8-hour line.
It literally made national news.
Yeah.
That people were waiting this long in line.
And obviously, if you had a brand new restaurant, nobody would wait that long for what you had to sell. But since people are familiar with In-N-Out, they know what it is, they know what they like. And I think there's some amount of bragging rights with the familiarity too, because everybody knows what you're talking about when you say, I was the first person to get a burger at the first In-N-Out in Idaho.
Right.
And so that leads us to like, familiarity is important, but you have to have repetition for familiarity. So it's not something you can just have right off the bat. And then if you have the familiarity, then people have the opportunity to like you. It's not guaranteed, but it's more likely.
Yeah. So something that we noticed with In-N-Out, and the reason why, other than the hamburgers, that we decided to come here today to film this segment, was that people are coming back for a reason. Something about the In-N-Out brand brings people in, and people really like it. It's like people say it has a cult-like following, even though it's just a regular fast food hamburger. But why is that? It's because they do all these different things that make people really like them. Their service is incredibly fast. They're helpful. They're friendly. In that 8-hour wait time line, there were people who were running out of gas, and In-N-Out was going out and getting gas and refilling people's gas tanks and changing tires, and all for free, just to be incredibly helpful. You know, it's very fast. There's been a huge line here for the last few weeks, and even though there may be 60 or 100 people in front of you, they're getting your food fast, and it's just incredibly friendly. So they're doing a lot of these things just to make people continue to come back.
And another thing is that they have practically like 3 things on the menu. You got burgers, shakes, fries, and there's not a lot of variety in their options. And I think that helps them with that familiarity. People can become familiar with the brand faster because they're trying the pretty much one item they have to offer right off the bat. You don't have to go back 5 times to find something you like. You either like it or you don't. And when we're branding our own channels, I think it's really important that we don't try to do too much, because if we show way too much of our personality, we show all the ways we kind of are a contradiction, everyone's a little bit of a contradiction, well then people have nothing that they can follow and remember about you. You're just everything, and then you're kind of nothing. So that's another, I think, parallel too with In-N-Out and the way we can run our channel.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a good point. It's not the same thing that keeps everybody coming back. And so while you don't want to share everything about yourself, there are specific things that you can share on your channel. A lot of times we call these things traditions. And so it could be a personality trait that people recognize that really sticks out, that they like. It could be some joke, inside joke on the channel that wasn't there initially, but it kind of fits your sense of humor or personality. Coming up with these types of things on your channel is a great way for people to become familiar with who you are and to love who you are. I'm really excited. It looks like we're about to order here. So give us a break. We're going to order some food, and then I think we have a couple more ideas for you.
I'll do a double-double with just fries but no drink.
Could I do a double-double meal with a vanilla shake? And on the double-double, could I get whole grilled onions and then chopped chilies? So traditions. Let's talk a little bit more about traditions. I think that's something that's really key to getting your channel to work and getting people to like you, but not only like you, we want them to stick around. And so let's talk through some examples of traditions, maybe ones that we've seen on channels that we like, or maybe traditions we want to establish on this channel. What do you think?
Yeah. So for our Income School channel, our other channel about vlogging, Ricky and Jim kind of randomly started talking about Thai curry, because Jim particularly loves Thai curry. And that stuck, and the audience started noticing it, and it just kind of got completely out of hand to where I think they did a kiddie pool of Thai curry eventually. They kept this Thai curry thing going. And what happens with traditions often is that we don't plan them, but they just kind of start and catch on. And our job, I think, as creators is to notice when something's catching on, notice when something fits our brand and people are remembering it, and then keep it going.
Yeah.
And take it further. So what are some traditions you think we might start on Channel Makers?
I mean, I wouldn't mind going through drive-thrus more often.
It's a good one. If you want to see that. We'll
more hamburgers.
Yeah.
Thumbs up for the hamburgers.
We tried to go in the walking line and ask people what they liked about their favorite creators.
Do you watch YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a favorite channel on YouTube?
Not really anymore. I did when I was younger, when I watched it more.
What made it like your favorite channel? Yeah.
Because it was somebody around my age.
Okay.
It was like watching somebody go through life.
We learned some things.
Yes. I think we learned a couple things. Number one, it's cold outside. I believe it's 15 degrees. It was
Ours says 13.
Okay, 13. It was so cold, like the condensation from my mouth was freezing to my beard. But also we learned that people don't want to talk to us.
Even for free food, we were giving away free $5 In-N-Out gift cards.
Yeah.
Even for free food, we're not worth talking to.
Yeah. But we did talk to a couple people who were nice enough to brave the cold weather. And surprise, surprise, they did watch YouTube. There was one lady who said that she watched YouTube more now, a little more randomly, but she said when she was younger, like she liked watching creators specifically who were going through the same things that she was going through. I thought that was really interesting. So it was just definitely someone she could connect with. And then the other person who I talked to said that his favorite channel was Mr. Beast. I mean, I can't really blame him. I think that's probably a lot of people's favorite channels. But anyway, there's just this familiarity. There's something that when you go back to the channel, you know what to expect. All right, we're on our way back to the office. We're a little bit hungry. So after we eat our food, you're going to hear the rest of what we had to say. We'll see you guys soon.
The third thing is just to think about what types of videos you're creating. There are different types of videos on every single channel, and the video that made me subscribe to a channel may be different than the video that made Julia or any of you watching subscribe to a channel. I know that on the channels that I love the most, I can nearly pinpoint the exact video that it was for me that made me subscribe. So as you think about that, think about what it is, that variety of videos that you make that cause people to subscribe, that keep people engaging and loving your brand. I think that it's really important to understand what those are, what those types of videos are, so that you're not just pigeonholing yourself into one type or style of video and eliminating or cutting out all those other people who may potentially be interested in your channel.
Now, YouTube might feel primarily like a one-way interaction, but it really is a two-way thing, and it takes time to build chemistry and connection with your audience. And I'm not just talking about comments, although that definitely plays a role, But it's also just figuring out what your audience likes, what kind of videos or maybe even things about you that they're really drawn to, and then figuring out that dynamic and working with it.
All of this meshed together has been so important for us that we've actually taken the time to come up with a system for figuring out your persona on your channel. We've created an entire video about it. Go check it out so that you can build your persona for your channel and keep people coming back to your channel over and over again.